And just like with Blair the Flair Cobbs and Alexis Rocha, that's another prediction I got way wrong because Sebastian Fundora, the towering Inferno, I think is the name he goes by, gets absolutely toppled in a shocker. And I'm going to tell you why it was a shocker. Because if you didn't watch the fight because you weren't going to pay for Showtime, I'll break down what happened. So for those, I covered this on the preview and on the podcast, combattalkradio.net. I covered on the preview, but Brian Mendoza was coming in significant underdog. I think he was like 11-1 underdog against Sebastian Fundora. Underdog for number of reasons. You know, Fundora's height, obviously. I don't think it was skill. I think it was Fundora's height. He's hard to reach. He's hard to get to. Seemed durable. Seemed like he's just difficult to get out. Now, Fundora's taken a knee before. You know, he's been dropped. It's not like he hadn't been dropped. But there were some things that were highlighted in the fight. Exposed is probably too extreme, but highlighted in the fight. Number one, first off, Brian Mendoza, in my mind, he didn't win around, right? He didn't win around prior to the outcome that we saw. But also, if you didn't know, Fundora has eye issues. He can't see clearly without glasses. So you'll see him wear glasses at like pressers. And he goes in and he fights and he's never gotten any sort of corrections on his eyes. The Charlos, I think both, the Charlos actually had a similar eye issue and they went and got I think it was LASIK or some other correction for their eyes because they need to be able to see. Now, the thing that's interesting here with Fundora not being able to see, I said in my preview, I thought Fundora was going to get him out of there, but the key for him to do that is to use his reach, use his height, distance, keep Mendoza out, keep him out of there. What we saw, and I've seen it in many fights with Fundora, is Fundora was all too happy to go into the phone booth and fight in trench because he knew he could land bombs because he could see the opponent, right? So Mendoza was playing that game and Fundora inside was actually very strong, effective. He was able to prevent significant damage. He was eating a couple of punches, but nothing that was going to be significantly damaging of him. But then it looked like in 7th round, the sequence, I'm going to try to break down best I can. It was pretty quick. There's highlights on Twitter if you want to check it out. But it looked like Mendoza automatically saw, okay, he wants to be inside, but when he's inside, I can't get at him. But when we disengage, when we go back, there's an opportunity there. So they go in, and as they're coming backwards, Mendoza lands what it looks like a kind of an uppercut slash left hook, or a right hook rather. It's a weird from the angle because he's off left just a little bit. He throws the right hand, and again, it comes across like a hybrid hook uppercut deal that just smashes Fundora, and then you see Fundora go absolutely wobble, like absolutely rubber. He's just stiff rubber, standing up stiff, but he's rubber as in nothing's moving. He wasn't evading. He wasn't doing anything. He was out on his feet complete. Then Mendoza comes back with a two-piece, looked like a right and then a left, for what I can tell. A two-piece just flush on the chin, and then boom, timber, and Fundora goes straight back. Head bounces off the canvas. He does sit up, and it looks like he's okay. It looks like it, but you can tell he's not. It looks like you can tell clearly he's not all there. Ref counts to 10. Ref gives him a chance to see if he's going to get up at the 8. He's not. So he's down. Mendoza gets the win in a complete knockout of Sebastian Fundora. First loss of Fundora's career. Again, what I saw there was Fundora just seemed all too happy to go in the phone booth as he has in many fights. And Mendoza was the first one to fully exploit an opportunity. And I think it was around that eyesight business of seeing an open opportunity when you're stepping back out of the phone booth. So kudos to Mendoza because I had no opportunity for him to beat Fundora unless he went to the body. He did go to the body, but not nearly as much as it didn't seem like it mattered, I guess. And he nailed him with a headshot, which is the hardest thing to do on Fundora. So kudos to him for that. Kudos to him for doing that after getting completely soundly outboxed so many rounds deep in a shocker, just completely shocked the world with this one. Do I think Mendoza's going to go far? I don't. I think somebody's going to take Mendoza out with ease after this because I don't think that Mendoza is that upper level quality. I think he went against an opponent and saw an opportunity. The exchange, anybody who's old school, if you go back to Sergio Martinez versus Paul Williams 2, second fight, the exchange where Paul got caught right on the chin. They're mid-throw. Paul's mid-throw. He gets caught bang on the chin. The difference here is that it's a very similar sequence, except that first shot didn't actually drop Fundora. It might have, But it seemed like he was pretty good standing on his feet, and Mendoza had the wherewithal to go in there and just finish it. But it was a similar exchange where it was just mid-throw, and Fundora didn't see the shot coming because, again, I think it's eyesight with him on that one. We have to see where Fundora goes on this one. I do think he'll bounce back reasonably strong. I think the question, though, is he's got to get that eyesight shit fixed because you can't be in there. If you're going to be that tall, lanky, super range advantage, you got to use it. You got to maximize it. And the way you do that is to have the eyesight to be able to do that and see them at distance so you can land those shots. The only time Fundora landed 80 power shots was that he wasn't in the phone booth. For somebody of his height and his reach, that shouldn't be the case. He should have been tagging at will on Mendoza, and he wasn't. And I think I played in because I don't believe that he should have lost this fight. But he did lose the fight in shocking fashion. Kudos to Mendoza one more time for an amazing shot here. And then for people on certain forums, I ain't gonna name you, but you know who you are. All you people that said that, this guy Fundora, he takes out Errol Spence. I need you to kind of take the L and shut up a little bit, because what you saw is Mendoza's nowhere close to Errol Spence. Nowhere close. Errol Spence, he'll go in the phone booth, but Errol Spence in the phone booth would have been way more effective than Mendoza, number one. Number two, Errol Spence would have been all too happy to stay at range when he knew the guy couldn't see him, and he'd have tagged him with that shot way earlier and made it look easy. So let's calm it down. We need to calm down a little bit. You understand there's levels to the shit. Fundora was never on that level. It was the eye test. He fooled you with the eye test. I understand that. It's time for you to learn. If you're as fans, you need to learn. Stop going off the eye test. It fools you every time. It's not legit. You can't trust it. You have to go off resume, pedigree, who you beat, and who that guy beat, to quote Uncle Roger Mayweather. Errol Spence is levels above Fundora, always had been. Fight against Ocampo told me Fundora had no chance against this dude. Fundora has no chance against, he had no chance against Jermell Charlo. Damn sure didn't, because Jermell Charlo would have taken him out too. There's levels to it. Learn, stop going off the eye test. The guy can look good, all they care to, but I don't know how many times you got to see it over and over again. You just saw it with Rashidi Ellis. You saw it with Bumbenga. You saw it with Teofimo. You saw it with Fundora. You got to stop going off the eye test. It's not healthy for you. I know you want that next big guy. The next big guy has to be tested, proven. It takes time, and it takes fighting the right tests. You got to be tested at the upper levels. You can't just go off them sparking out the low levels. Fundora was a freak show attraction. That's what he is. He's a freak show. And the fans crave that. They crave freak show attractions. That's why guys like Valua went as far as they did, right? So we got to look at, why was he such a draw? He was a draw because he was a freak show. It wasn't because of overall skill, talent, any of that. He's a freak show. He was able to get guys out of there. That's not dinging on him, because that makes money. That draws money, being a freak show. But now that he's been knocked out, to the chin no less, that freak show attraction is going to go down unless he can get the eye shit fixed and then come back and show that he can be that dude. I do think he needs to go back in the gym. And if he ever listens to this, I think he does need to go back in the gym. Just like I said, the boots, you need to learn defense upstairs. Actually guard your face, not just take the punches because you think you can. This is a reason why, because you got to learn defense. You got to be able to do defense at range and up close. And I think Fundora never trained to do defense at range because he didn't feel like he needed to. But when you don't have perfect eyesight, you damn sure need to. So that's a flaw that I think they need to fix in the game. Hopefully, and I believe he'll bounce back stronger, but it's really going to depend on, his team and what he feels and sees after the fight. Because again, it was a pretty stunning shot that he ate. It was bad. So kudos to Mendoza. Again, I don't think he's going to go too far, and that's not dinging on Mendoza. I just think that he's nowhere ready for the upper echelon of 154, in my opinion.